Hey everybody, Rick here. In this video, I want to discuss why if you are a thin-skinned Westerner, you may not fit in well in the northeast Isaan region of Thailand. So with that said, let's get on with the video. Okay guys, let's dive right into it. This topic came to my mind because I'm back in Thailand again, which I'm very happy about. It's before Christmas, and I made it back. Right now I'm sitting out here on the rice farm. I'm thinking about purchasing part of this, and I was thinking about whenever I was back in the USA, and I would watch how people were so uh, walking on eggshells with what they say with each other all the time. And I'm sure if you're from the United States, you'll know what I'm talking about. They have all the stuff like the fat shaming and, you name it, being politically correct and being careful what you say so you're not declared that you're a racist or, you're white privileged or whatever, whatever it may be. In the States, there's all of these things you're tippy-toeing around all the time. And excuse me too, I've got really bad allergies. I've got to get something's blooming that's killing me here. But anyway, I was thinking about that because whenever I was watching a lot of the Thai people here in the Isaan region and how they talk with each other about things, and they talk with me, if you are thin-skinned at all, you best get over it or you're not going to fit in over here. And I'm going to give you an example. Whenever I first came back, which was just, I don't know, within the last 8 days, I had dropped quite a bit of weight working out in the States at the gym and doing some other things. Had a lot of moving going on, a lot of physical activity. So I dropped some weight. Well, whenever I first got here, because a lot of the people had missed me and they all wanted to get together and party and have fun, really for about 4 days or five, all we did was just go to different people's houses and eat and, drink beer and eat all kinds of good Thai food that was made and all of that. Well, I probably gained 5 pounds in a week. And so I was sitting just the other day out on the porch, and one of the girls that Tia knows was talking to her, and Tia started laughing, and I asked her what she was laughing about, and she said that the girl was pointing because I was getting fat around my waist. I was getting that spare tire, and she said when he first got here, he didn't have that, and now that he's here a week, he's getting that spare tire. He's getting fat. And they were both laughing about it. Now, if you'd say something like that to somebody back in the States, many people would get very upset about it. They'd have something very negative to say, or they'd start making excuses and all this. And all I could say was, you're right, I am. I've been here for 1 week and I'm starting to get fat because I'm not doing my exercise like I normally would here, and I wasn't watching what I was eating. We went out to several restaurants and we've just did a lot of different activities. So, that was one example of it. The next example was we had got up and Tia was going to get ready to go to school, and she was going to put on this uniform she has. It's a dress and it zips up, and she started hollering at me to come help her. And I thought, help you do what? And she couldn't get it zipped up in the back, and so she's been getting fat too the last 5 days. And so I helped her get it zipped up, and she said something about, she goes, oh, this dress used to be loose. Look at this, look at this. And she turned around, and I couldn't help but laugh because instead of being all negative and saying, do I look okay or this or that, she said, can you tell? And I said, yeah, I can. I said, you've got a little bit fat around the belly there. That's why it's tight. And she started laughing. And instead of getting angry, she started laughing and stuck her stomach out and said, you're right, I am. I'm getting fat. We're going to go running. We got to get back running. So she immediately set the rule that where I always exercise all the time, she was going to get back into it too with me, and that was going to start immediately. She was ready to get rid of the few extra pounds she picked up. So that's part of the difference that I see. Now, that's speaking for the Asan region. And I see them talk about many things like, if somebody's hair's getting gray, they might laugh and, say that you're starting to get old and you're getting that white hair and laugh about it or something like that. And back in the States, a lot of people actually get pissed off about that. I mean, I see that a lot of times. They get upset. They take it extremely personally. Excuse me again. Like I said, I'm sniffing a lot because of the allergies. And I just don't see that here. I see it in another respect too. Like I might be talking to somebody about somebody else here and saying, yeah, they're come to help on the farm or help do something I want some help with out here on the land. And one of the Thai people might say something, and then they'll start laughing. And I asked Tia what they said, and they said, "Well, the person you're talking about," they said, "is lazy," and the person will be standing right there. And I'll say, I don't understand exactly what you're meaning, because I'm thinking from United States mentality that you just call somebody lazy, they're going to get pretty ticked off about it. And, some of these people will just outright admit, yeah, sometimes I just get lazy. I don't want to do anything. And they just kind of, laugh it off and chuckle it off. And then somebody will say, well, don't be lazy. Come on, let's go. Let's get this done. Quit being lazy. You're getting lazy and you're not accomplishing anything. And they move forward with it. It's not, if you're getting the gist of what I'm saying, there's not the tiptoe on eggshells, but you have to be prepared you might hear things like that, whenever you're now I'm talking about the Isaan region and out in the farmland. Of course, now back home, from where I'm at in Missouri, there's certain areas that some people might be like that more so when you get out around, which you can look up on the internet, places like Theodosia, Missouri, or Ava, Missouri, or you're really getting back in the country, the deep, deep country. Some people want to call it the world of, where the hillbillies live. I think that that's fine. I don't mind if somebody wants to call me a hillbilly. It doesn't bother me at all because it's their culture. I can see a lot of similarities between Isaan culture and when you get back in the deep, deep country of Missouri. People are more likely to not be as politically correct or not be offended as easily. Now, the one major difference I do see is in places like back in deep country Missouri, if you piss somebody off, you might end up, lost in the national forest for the rest of your life, if you get my jest. Here I do not see a lot of that. If people get pissed off, they just pretty well clam up, and they just don't talk a lot about it. Most of them won't argue or start getting that Karen attitude and getting, way out there in left field. Where you will see that more, and you'll see a lot more violence, even back in the deep country areas, if people get into, what you might call a feud or, differences between families. It can become, more of a aggressive, let's say, situation back in the States than I see here. I don't see the aggressiveness here. I see people get upset with each other, maybe not, have anything. Maybe, I guess the best way to put it is if they get upset with somebody, they just basically won't go out of their way to help them. They'll just kind of shun them in a sense until things are kind of squared away and evened up. And they won't hold a grudge forever. Generally, if somebody will come forth and say, hey, I'm sorry, I watch Thai people be very accepting of that, very accepting. And it's okay, and they move on. And when they say it's okay, it's not that, United States, it's okay, but I still don't like you, and I'm going to do everything I can to stab you in the back, it's okay. It's more of it's okay, and it's done. I mean, it's done, and it's over, and I don't see them have any more qualm about things. Now, they might be a little bit watchful about certain scenarios they get into with the person, but they don't hold a big, severe grudge and try to cause them any issues. So I guess my point of the video is what I see that I like so much about this Northeast Isaan region is because it's all Thai people and there's just very few expats around. Once you learn what it's like and how their culture reacts and interacts with each other, it's actually really refreshing. It's actually nice to know that as long as you're just an honest, nice person, you don't have to worry about everybody running around trying to stab you in the back. I know there's all the videos about Pattaya and all the expat world, but that's a whole different world. I'm talking about in the Northeast region. I'm talking about farm people. Some of these people have lived in a 20-mile radius, and they will live there their entire life, and they'll never go anyplace else. I'm not talking about people that are in around the expats that are in Bangkok, Pattaya, Jom Tien, whatever. I'm talking about out truly in the villages. Like I'm near Charo Sin sub-district, I believe it is, and then Kaloksika is the village, and I'm in that area, and you're getting out in the country pretty well here. So these people out here are, from what I've dealt with, are very kind, they're very nice. You treat them well, they treat you well. And don't ever believe this bullshit of people saying that Thai people never accept you. I don't know who's came up with that crap. I have no idea, because I know here that with Tia and her family that they tell me all the time, and they show it, that I am very well accepted into their family. Now, I may not be blood, but that doesn't matter. It's sometimes that's the same way back in the Western in the United States or Western countries. You know, blood is blood, and you have to understand that. And I understand that with Thai people and their culture too. But this stuff where they say, "Oh, you'll never be accepted if something goes wrong. They're just going to cast you out in the cold." That's the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard. I had one day, to give you an example, a real funny little deal happened. I like to go out, and tell you guys, I go out and I walk all the time and run up and down this one road. Well, on the farm next to this farm that I'm sitting at, one of Tia's relatives, he owns the farm next door. And he's a younger guy, and maybe his 40s, younger than me, and super cool guy, does not speak any English whatsoever. But we get along and we manage to communicate, be it by translator or just, understanding, pointing and speaking and, sign language in a sense. And he seen me one day walking down this road, and I may have told you guys about this in another video, but it fits in good here. He seen me, and I was walking down this road, and sometimes I'll wear my backpack because I'll have water in it or in my camera or things like that. And I go for this long walk. It's probably, I don't know, 6-10 kilometers down to a river. And then I'll turn around and walk back. Well, he's seen me on the way heading that way, and that's towards one of the more major towns. And when he seen me, he was sitting, this was maybe noon one day, and he was sitting with a couple guys on his farm, and they're just sitting out there having a beer, doing what guys do, And as I walked down the road, I waved like this as hello. And next thing I know, he had pulled up next to me in the car, telling me to get in his truck. And he was taking it like I was waving goodbye. He thought that Tia and I had gotten an argument. This was his deduction, that Tia and I had got into an argument and that I was headed to town, and that's why I had a backpack on, that I was pissed off and I was waving bye to him. So he picked me up and he said, let's go get beer or whiskey, And I go, okay. I didn't know why. So I rode with him up to the town, and then he brings me back. And he brings me back to his farm. And so I sat with all these guys. They're all speaking Thai. I don't know what the hell they're saying. They're all being nice to me, and we're pouring each other drinks and just having a good time. Well, the next thing I know, here comes Tia driving up. And she starts talking to them. And she starts laughing. And she tells me that he stopped me because he thought we'd got into the argument, as I'd said previously. I'd got pissed off, put on a backpack, and I was trekking into town to get away from here, and he didn't want that to happen, that he wanted me to stay here. So he came and got me and brought me back until we could cool down and correct things. Little did he know we hadn't had any type of argument and never have. So we just thought that was so funny, and I thought it was hilarious. And I think it proves the point of don't give me that bullshit that you're not accepted into the culture, because if you are polite and you are nice and you are kind to the people and they like you, you're very accepted. And that's a prime example of it. He didn't want me to leave. He wanted to make sure everything was okay. So he came and got me and brought me back and was more or less holding me hostage with beer and whiskey on his farm until Tia could get there and we could settle our differences which there were no differences to settle. But we all got a good laugh out of it. We all had a good time, and it made a very valid point to me. And that was the point I just made, that, you know, you can be well accepted in. Just be a good guy when you're here. Learn the culture, understand how things work with them. So that's going to be where I cut this off. I'm going to cover some more things in future videos, but that just kind of popped into my mind today. I was out on my morning walk. I stopped by the farm here to see how things were going. You probably have been hearing this water pump noise in the background, and that is where Tia's brother's Chin is pumping water from this farm over to another to grow a second round of rice. He wants to try to get in another crop for the year. So sorry about the extra noise, but it was too nice of a day for me to do a video anyplace other than sitting out here on the farm. So guys, this is Rick with Rick's Adventures. Again, you know the drill. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff if you like it. And I'll be seeing you all soon in the next video. Take care, everybody, and leave your comments of any experiences or what you think. Take it easy, guys. See you later.